lifetime dream of yours to just produce and, you know, just be that guy in the background doing all the, you know, the buttons, the gear, you know, putting together the song, putting together the lyrics? Is that like your ultimate just dream and goals?
I think for the most part, I wanted to be the frontman, you know, for many years. When I got to that point with Steady 45s, I realized, you know, I don't want to do this. You know, it's not something that I want to kind of spend my days and my energy on focusing on. You know, I could be utilized doing this in the studio better. You know, I could help out more people by being in the studio than I can shaking my ass on stage. You know what I mean? So it's like, I think for a long time I wanted to do that. I just wanted to be the guy, center stage guy, you know. But after getting a taste of it, somewhat a little bit, I guess, it's not really as interesting as it seems, and I think I have more fun in the studio working with people than anything. So yeah, I think now it's kind of more leaning towards, I really am fulfilling, to be honest with you, which is growing it and just increasing the expectations so that way you don't get dull, you don't get stale and stuff, you know.
What is your first step in producing? Like, okay, so let's say we have like a Trish Toledo that's coming in, and you know, what's your first step? Is it like going off her ideas? Are you, or just, hey, I have this song that I put together, how this may fit you? What's your process there when an artist comes to you?
I try to have them kind of open up the idea, whether it be a sheet of lyrics or, you know, a melody. You know, sometimes in the case of the Lakesiders, she hummed a melody, and, you know, we built an entire song around it, you know, just from her little whistling. So like, I think for the most part, I try to see what it is that they're trying to get out. Most importantly, before I even say anything, I try to listen as much as I can. And then, you know, at a certain point when it's not, if there's no kind of direction or if there's no kind of momentum, then eventually I'll say, hey, you know, what about these chords? Or why don't we just, you know, and if nothing's kind of still, first 30 minutes, first hour, then let's just sit down, let's listen to the music, and like, show me some songs or show me some recordings that you like, some singers that you want to sing, some songs that you like, you know. And then I just immediately put myself in that position of like what they're doing, each member of that band in this recording and how it's working and stuff. So it's like a lot of, my mind works a lot. Like when I'm in the studio, I don't really get to take a break. You know, the people take lunches, but when they take lunch, I'll be setting up for the next microphone, you know, I'll be setting up for the next part of the session. So it's a lot of like, you always have to be 4 or 5 steps ahead of the artist as terms of like, if they don't like this idea, okay, then you throw this one, this one, this one, this one. And that's kind of like what, you know, what's kind of brought back from Gabe's, because you go to Gabe's studio and, you know, we'll spend 2 days just working out one section of a song because it's something's not working or something could be better. You know, so you try to find as many different ways to excite the artist and the musicians who are in there to create an atmosphere to be able to go in and have a good recording session and have a good idea translate.
Yeah, and one thing that's come up in some of the interviews that I did with like Mariah, and then even Coda had brought this up with you, is that there's something that you do to relax them. I don't know if it's the words that you tell them or the vibe that you set off in the studio, but can you talk about that? Because I'm sure there's people that know who you are. They know that, you know, you're a big deal. I don't care what you tell me, but I know that you're a big deal. If I was going into the studio with you, I would know like, okay, this is going to be good. No matter what comes out of this, it's going to give me some love because Joey's put his stamp on it. So what do you do to like an artist that comes in that just seems nervous?
I mean, it's always different. Everybody's always different. You know, like in some cases, you know, like the Escapers came in, you know, I'll give them as an example. They were fans of the Steady 45s, and they were fanboys of the Steady 45s. And then when they found out that I did some soul music, they were super, you know, fanboys of me. So they came in and they were kind of nervous and like kind of just like real fidgety. And it's like, man, like, you know, like, dude, like, and they reminded me so much of the Steady 45s and all the personalities in that band. So I just felt so uncomfortable with them, but they were all nervous because they were at my studio, and, you know, I was like, man, like, dude, like, I'm the same fucking dudes as you guys are. And like, you know, started telling jokes, started telling stories about mutual people that we met, and just, you know, I just kind of try to relate to them and just like put myself in their situation and let them understand that like, it's not a high pressure situation, because the studio here is not a very high pressure situation. It's, if we get it done, we get it done. Great. If we don't, we'll come back next time, we'll get it right, you know? So I think that's the thing, is that I don't really put a limit on the sessions. It's like, as far as you got this much time to knock it out and you're out the door. You know, it's like, let's get some time to get comfortable. Let's make sure like this guitar is going to work for you. If you don't like these drums hits, let's switch them out. Let's get them in the drum set. You know, let's get you comfortable. Just kind of a lot of booze, of course, always helps getting them. You know, I try to get, especially with Johnny from the Escapers. I mean, he was so kind of timid, you know, and like we weren't getting a good sound of like setting up a studio mic and singing. You know, it finally turned into like, all right, how about this? Put your glasses on, you know, hold your Corona on your right hand and hold this microphone and listen. And he was vibing. It took him to where he wanted to be, you know, because he's used to playing like that. So I think I just try to find the strengths and the weaknesses, I guess, of everybody who comes in and kind of showcase and pump them up, not only with their strengths, but kind of just put them at ease for the weaknesses and make them not worry about it.
I really do think that you are a very special person, because most producers, they can only really produce. You know, like they can push the buttons, they know what needs to happen on the producer side, but you can write music, you can sing. That's another big one, is you can sing too. How much does that give you an edge, you think, when these artists come in and ask for your help, when you have all these knowledge of instruments and knowledge of what it takes to sing?
I think that's the biggest thing that's impressed me, that puts him at ease, is like, you know, like, oh, he could put himself in our shoes, and he knows, you know, as a horn player, as a singer, as a percussionist, or whatever. I've at some point in my life done all those roles for my recordings or for artists backing them up live or anything. That I get it, and I'd like to think that I have a knowledge of where things should set most of the time. A lot of times I'm wrong too, though. A lot of times, you know, somebody younger than me will come in, but I think it's such a big thing to like be able to shut up sometimes and like listen for sure, like to what's actually happening, and not only always think that you have the right answers, because I don't all the time.
Now, the big artist that you've worked with is, you know, Trish Toledo. She's basically like the modern soul queen, right? She has a huge following. A lot of people love the stuff that she's doing. I've seen her in concert. She sounds great. You've worked with a lot of tracks with her originally. What is it like working with her? And how have you seen her like grow through this process through the last couple of years?
I mean, she's always been like a force to be reckoned with. I mean, like back then too, like, you know, she just kind of commanded attention, and, you know, it just was such a thing to like, she had something even back then that you knew, you know, and she kind of always stuck with it. She had such a great story, and, you know, so many people look up to her, and that's the most beautiful thing to me, I think. And to see that grow, to see her like train younger singers and take on people, you know, I think it's such a cool thing to have her kind of share that knowledge. And she dove so much into like not only just being a singer, but being a writer, and being an artist, and being like an actual writing. And, you know, she's learning guitar. I've seen her build her studio. I helped her build her studio. She got all this equipment. She wanted to learn how to run everything, you know. So I'm teaching her how to do all these things, and she's taking knowledge and wants to learn everything about it, so that way she can be hands-on, because that's what really she wants. So I think it's all fucking cool to see her kind of get in her own and kind of lend her I guess what you call spotlight to other people and other artists, not only music, but like people making jewelry and people cooking and stuff like that. She always shares all that stuff. So I think it's important to use your platform to do so. I respect that for sure.
Is there future songs coming out? I know you've done The Only One, right? You guys were featured, the Sinceres were featured in that song, and that was it seemed like a really cool production right there. It was like the whole 70s like music video going on. Can you tell me about that song and that process and how that song came about?
Yeah, I think it was a song that we had maybe did like a writing session, I want to say maybe in August of last year, of the year before, I'm sorry, 19 maybe. And we had written a handful of songs that we kind of just were starting, we never got to finish, and that was the first one that we finished. There's a couple other ones that we had done with the Sinceres that we recorded. I haven't really finished yet, because we had obviously everybody gotten busy and kind of done their own kind of shows and stuff like that, so we kind of fell off the loop of that. But, you know, we did a live stream with her as a Sinceres back in the day, like sometime last week, and it was like kind of like a cool, like, hey, you know, like we got to do something again, you know. So there's definitely plans in getting her in the studio. I think she's gonna come Thursday actually, because her fiance, congratulations to them too, she just got engaged. her fiance is gonna come and paint my sign for the studio, hand paint it. So I'll be able to see them Thursday and maybe work something out, get something going.
Just